So I was working on this tattoo with my cousin, and I had thought back about really a number of different circumstances in my life, and I was like, okay, getting a quote for a tattoo is kind of cheesy. It's like really cheesy. I feel like quotes are so like, oh, what do you have a tattoo of? Oh, this quote, and it's super meaningful. But this, it says, never tell me the odds. And it's from Star Wars. Han Solo says it, so I thought I would throw on a nerdy Star Wars shirt. I'm not a nerd, I'm just a fangirl, because I don't know shit about Star Wars. I'm a fangirl. I'm a collector. But the never tell me the odds has been something that I feel like has been my live by for so long. Like when I was in undergrad, I realized that I packed myself too full. I was balancing 20 credit hours over a summer and was growing a wedding photography business and raising at the time a 2-year-old by myself completely. And if you haven't done school or you haven't run a business, both of those alone are a lot. Or a parent. So 3 things together. Yeah, insanity. Absolute insanity. But I did it. Not the greatest in any of the areas, but not the worst. And I got the bachelor's degree. I had, in my opinion, a successful wedding year. Considering the income that I needed, I survived. I had no problems, right? And my child has lived to tell the tale. So he's almost 9 now. So I've made it. Never tell me the odds. I made it. And it's something that I've had to keep in mind anytime a hardship comes up. And as a business owner or as a parent or just in general in life, hard things happen. And they happen a lot, which sucks. But I've been realizing it's not always as hard as we think it is. Or there's still, as cliche and cheesy as it might seem, there's still good that can come out of it. And it's hard to look at the good when shit fucking sucks. It's so hard. It is so hard to see financials plummeting or just absolute stress of life or diseases coming into the family or for yourself. There's so many horrible and disheartening things that happen in our everyday life that it can be so hard to be there's good in store for this, or there's good to come from this. But I've realized heavily that, and I'm sorry if I'm not looking at the camera, I'm used to doing these episodes on a just on a mic. I'm actually not really sure how this is going to work out, so we'll see how this goes. But I'm trying to balance both doing things for the YouTube side of things, or to be able to post it to reels and stuff, versus just doing audio, because I want to be able to reach more people and be seen, which is scary. But life is hard, you know? It really is. Life is hard. And there's cancer, and there's death, and there's financial difficulties, and there's getting fired or getting laid off, or a partner cheating on you or leaving you, or just so many really shitty things happen in life. And I realized that my podcast is From Grief to Gold, and I'm just yeah, shit fucking sucks, man. Shit sucks. It's just terrible. Would not recommend. Don't come to Earth. This shit sucks. But I don't know. I think that there is something about just being in the present, even though shit sucks. You can be like, damn, that doesn't look real good today. Or like I get like a nice view of these like really pretty hills. And so like when things are really stressful, I'm just like, nature's really beautiful sometimes. Nature's really scary. Like if you've ever seen hurricanes or tornadoes or earthquakes or like all of these other things, like nature's scary. Or like the animals and like they eat each other, like they're not all cute. Like I've watched a lot of TikTok and there's like so many cute little like domesticated raccoons and otters and like people who are like BFFs with lions, and it makes me like feel like I could too. Probably not a good idea. I probably shouldn't try to befriend a bear if I were to go on a hike and run into one. But life is scary. Nature's scary. Nature's also beautiful, and life is also beautiful. And I feel like, you know, we are a lot more powerful than we think we are. You know, we can control our minds a lot better than we think we can. And it doesn't mean that our circumstances are going to just change like out of nowhere. They're not. Maybe. Shoot, I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe. I don't know. And I'm not like heavy in manifestation stuff or like law of attraction or any of those things, but I do find truth to those different things, just like religions and other spiritual practices. You know, there's a lot of similarities that can be found, and so many of them bring you back to your mindset, and they bring you back to like trusting the process, trusting the universe, trusting God, trusting, you know, whatever it is, and watching the thoughts that you have and the words that you say, because they do hold a lot more power than I think we really allow ourselves to acknowledge. Some of us do. Some of us probably definitely acknowledge. And again, I'm sorry. I'm so used to this is what I look like when I'm doing a podcast where I'm not recording. And for my audio listeners, I keep like looking out into the distance and like not looking at the camera at all. I think it just helps me focus more. So like, I'm sorry if you're like watching this YouTube video. And I'm also like checking because my battery is going to be running out real quick. But yeah, if you're not watching my video, hello, if you're watching my video, I'm just like staring off to the distance, like looking at the trees and looking at stuff, because I feel like it helps me concentrate a lot better on what I'm saying. And then I realize that I'm literally recording my face and that people can just see me lollygagging in my brain. I'm off prairieing and petting lions and whatever. But life can be hard. And I realize, because again, like one of my most listened to videos is on dissociation and depersonalization and grounding. And I have a friend of sorts. I say of sorts. We don't talk all the time, and it makes me kind of sad, but this friend has dealt with cancer in the past and is now dealing with it again, only it's in multiple areas. And it brought me back to my grandma, because she died from cancer, and that was really hard for me because she was just like the life of the party. Like she had more friends on Facebook than I did. She was out way more than I was. Like she was out like doing country gigging, and like just she like was the life. Like she lived. Even while she was fighting and battling with cancer, like she and my step grandpa and I always called him my grandpa, but like we're not even as close. That's like I'm like unpacking myself here. I'm sorry. This isn't a therapy session. But they went out to California and she got to go see like dolphins and just like she lived to the day that she died. She lived. And it's hard because life is hard and it can be so easy to drift back into dissociation and depersonalization and this existential anxiety because it's like there is so much beauty to be seen, to experience, and there is also so much sadness and fear and just all of the emotions, all of the feelings, all of the experiences all in one lifetime. And I think realizing, I've known for a while that life is short. Uh, People say it all the time, but having my son, you know, he's gonna be 9 this year, and I feel like I just had him. I feel like I just found out I was pregnant, and suddenly I have a 9-year-old. Or like my mom, you know, last year we celebrated our 50th and 30th birthday together, and she even was like, it flies by. And if you ever are like curious and you like to watch YouTube and look at these different videos of people and their like final days or final year, they all say how fast life goes by, and a lot, a lot of them regret not living. And to circle back to the friend that is dealing with her second stage or second, you know, experience with cancer, it's like life is fucking short. And I've shared on my first episode for this 3rd season that like me turning 31 was kind of big for me because I was 25 when I became a technical widow, and my late husband, the father of my child, my son's dad, whatever I call him by, he was 31 when he died, when he overdosed. And I knew it was young when I was 25, but now that I'm 31, it's like, holy crap. Like, that is so young. Like, so young. And it's just, it's so hard. It's so hard to, like, see all this heartbreak and to be positive still. And I think there's this like negative connotation, and maybe that's not the right word, I'm not the best with words, but about like positivity and like love and light and like all of the things. And there's definitely a negative where people are being too positive and you know that they're being fake. But I think that it genuinely takes courage to find the good. I feel like it genuinely takes courage and strength to be like, shit fucking sucks, but there is good in this. And maybe the good is that you need to slow down more. Or maybe the good is recognizing the things that matter in your life. Or realigning. Like maybe you have fallen so far away from your original goals that like life needed to kick you in the butt and be like, look here. Remember when these were all your goals? Check yourself. Or maybe like the goals that you had weren't actually yours. And so life kind of redirected you and was like, are you sure you want that? Are you sure that's what you really want? Because this is what it's going to look like. I'm going to show you what it's going to look like, but are you sure that's what you want? Are you sure that's what you want? And as I mentioned, like, it takes courage to be in the fucking rut, to be in the trenches and being like, shit fucking sucks, but there's good. How can I find the silver lining? Like, yeah, I'm getting fired at and I'm starving, but like, here's the good. And I think that there is power and there is strength and there is beauty in being able to still find good. And I don't really know what the focus of this episode was, except for that life is hard, shit can fucking suck, but there is power in finding the good. So, yeah. I think part of this was also me being sad about life is hard, you know? Finances are hard. There's so much shady shit going on, corruption, politics. Like, I'm not even going to go into that because that's not at all what I want to focus on here. And I do not feel educated enough. But, like, shoot. When I go on TikTok, like, people are like, oh, dancing. I was like, no, my TikTok's full of politics and all this corruption and, like, conspiracies and then, like, mental health and, like, whatever. But, like, and this is what goes into that existential crisis and like depersonalization, derealization, because like shit's fucking wild, you know? And I'm fully like understanding that like we are not meant to experience all of this stuff. Like there is so much beauty in social media and being consistently connected to people, but then there's also so much negative for our mental health because like I don't think we were ever meant to process all of this stuff constantly. It's just an overload to deal with our personal lives and then deal with this other stuff. And I don't know. I wish I had more answers. But I'm learning to understand that, like, we don't have to know. We don't know. And I struggle because I don't necessarily have a spiritual belief necessarily. I've always kind of been questionable with religion, and I'm not going to dive into that at all either. But even when I was a technical Christian, I always kind of struggled with it. And now that I've, like, fully escaped, it's definitely left me, like, extra questioning, but doing my best to trust that there is something out there that can see through all of the absolute chaos, but like knows that all of these little pieces need to happen for this bigger, better thing. And I wish I understood. I just know that there have been a number of times where really shitty circumstances came up in my life, but it helped me become a better person, or things that I did not want to happen happened. And again, even though it wasn't right away, like it did help, and I did become better, or I was able to help somebody else because of the circumstance that I was in. And so even if you're in the shitstorm, even though you're in the trenches, maybe just do your best to keep faith that good is in store, whether it's the good that you get to provide to other people and you get to support other people and you get to show people that you were there and like this is where you're at now, or I don't know. I don't know. I'm just figuring it out too. So I hope you have a wonderful day now that I've like talked about all the sadness and things. But I think this is part of the grief to gold too, is that things aren't always like rainbows and butterflies. I'm realizing that like the shadowing has been like all over half of my face in the video. It doesn't matter because I was looking out the window the whole time. I'm sure I looked super poetic, but or just like in La La Land. But yeah, part of the grief to gold is just sitting in the grief and trusting that there will be gold, or trusting that things can get better, or that there's a reason, maybe not in your life, but maybe the circumstances that happened for you helped somebody else, that helped somebody else, and just the ripple effect that our life has on the world and on other people. And it can be hard to be like, but what about me? Because I think about that all the time. Well, what about me? Like, what about me? Like, shit fucking sucks. What about me? But keeping in mind that there is this whole orchestrated planet of like 8 billion people or whatever, and we all hold these little ripples where we're all little ants making this movement. And I'm sure somebody with more spirituality or whatever, maybe I can snag some people for podcast episodes to talk about their spirituality and how it's helped shape them to work through the good and the bad of the world. But I'm not that person. So with that being said, thank you for listening or for watching. Go and catch the other episodes. Like, comment, subscribe. I'd love to hear your thoughts or topics you'd like me to discuss. I do have so many mental health books and spiritual books that I would like to start like actually reading and then sharing my thoughts, sharing my highlights, and letting y'all either go read it yourself or just take my Spark Notes and carry on with it as you will. So thank you for listening, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Go and hunt the good stuff, as the army would say, and I hate that, but I did say that once, and the chaplain was like, look at you, resiliency training is working, and I was like, no, it's not. No, it's not. That's all I got. Okay, bye.